Hello mages on the internet, Matt here from TOTALmtg and welcome to today's video. So rotation in Standard is just under 2 months away and I think it's a good time to go through some rotation proof decks. On today's videos I'm starting with Mono Red Aggro. It is a lot of people's favourite deck in the format. Now we're going to be losing cards like Fanatical Firebrand, Lightning Strike and the Chain Whirler amongst others, but I do feel with these few changes that I've made, the deck is still viable. So let's take a look at my Mono Red updated rotation proof deck and let's see how we can go on into Standard until we get to update it with some Throne of Eldraine cards. So Mono Red Aggro, or Red Deck Wins as the deck is known as well. I'm going to start off by looking at some of the creatures that the deck does have. Obviously we're going to have to make a few changes, which is what this whole rotation proof is all about. So coming in for Fanatical Firebrand for me was an easy choice. It was Scorch Spitter. This is a 1/1 for 1, so the same, obviously, CMC as the Fanatical Firebrand, but when this attacks, it deals 1 damage to the player or Planeswalker it's attacking. Now, obviously, it's not going to have haste like the, obviously, Firebrand did have, but this has that extra little ability that it can just attack to do damage, which sometimes, if they've got a big blocker there, this might be all you need to get in the win. That extra point of damage. And also the attack phase of this can just activate Spectacle, which is great for cards like Light Up the Stage. It's really handy to have that in there. Skewer the Critics, that has another one that has Spectacle as well. Scorch Splitter is in there as a 4 in the deck. It's our replacement Fanatical Firebrand, but I think it can just do a little bit of extra work. So the next creature addition is a 2-drop. It's double red in Ember Hauler. This has already started to see a little bit of play, and I can see why. It's a good body for 2/2. The double red is obviously no problem for a mono red deck to play. It can pay 1 and you can do this straight away. Sacrifice it to do 2 damage to any target whatsoever. So that means Planeswalkers, opponents or creatures. This is really sweet, and like I said, it's another enabler for Spectacle, which sometimes is what you need to get the Light Up the Stage going or your Skewer, just to get that final bit of damage in. It's a really nice creature body, can obviously block and then you can sack it to the block as well and still do 2 damage. Very nice addition, Ember Hauler, in this rotation proof deck. Good for us that Runaway Steamkin is still in the format. This card is essential for Mono Red Aggro. It can get really big as a 4/4, really nice, take those counters off, add the mana as well to maybe play another creature or anything, or just do a final bit of shock damage, or potentially draw cards with Light Up the Stage. Runaway Steamkin is in there as a 4 as well, because it is the essential card, the build around card for Mono Red Aggro. Now we've got no Chain Whirler, but we're going to replace it with a creature that does offer value in Legion Warboss. This is not legendary as well, which makes this card great. 2/2 for 3, has Mentor as well, so a creature with haste can attack as soon as it comes in control, and that's what your creature goblins are going to be doing. And we've got a little card in there that you'll see in 1 second that can be really good, in just in case they're just going to go straight into a blocker and die. We've got a use for those red goblins. You can play multiple of these, like I said, it's not legendary, and Mentor means whenever this creature attacks, put a 1/1 counter on target attacking creature with power less. So that means those goblins can be, they can be enhanced with the Mentor. So that's all the creatures that we've got in the deck. Now let's get on to the spells. Shock is still there, printed in M20, and is a straight inclusion as a 4. Now we don't have Lightning Strike, but what works well with this deck, because we can make obviously tokens with Legion Boss, and we do have a Planeswalker as well that can do this, is Heartfire. This is the time for Heartfire to shine for me. It may, we might get Lightning Strike reprinted in Eldraine. We don't know, we might have something better. But this can still do serious work. As additional cost to cast a spell, sack a creature or Planeswalker, we can do that. We can sack maybe a Scorch Splitter, or we can maybe sack one of the Legion War Boss's goblin creatures to this and do 4 damage for 2 mana as well. This is a nice card and can certainly win games for this mono red rotation proof deck. We've also got 4 Light Up the Stage. I've spoke about how Spectacle could be easier to activate with the kind of cards that we have now in this new deck. Scorch Splitter will do that as well. And obviously it's just a nice card. It's one of the best cards that was printed from this set, and it's super strong, because if you get to play it for that spectacle cost, putting those 2 cards into exile and playing them till the end of your next turn is, well, that's just bonkers for red. We have a 3 of risk factor in there. Target opponent may have the risk factor deal 4 damage to them. They generally do that at the start, but they don't want to do that at the end. They don't want to refill your hand, but they don't want to take damage, so it's a real quandary when you're playing risk factor. And it has Jumpstart, so we can play that over again. Skewer the Critics, another spectacle card. We've got great ways. Scorch Splitter will go in there, turn 2 attack, and then we can start putting more damage on with the Skewer, as it does so well. 3 damage to any target, so it can hit the Planeswalkers, the opponents, and the creatures. This deck has a lot of power to still do damage, even rotation proof, and even losing some really critical cards. The last 2 spells we have in the main board is a 2 of Experimental Frenzy. Really nice card, 3 and a red. Enchantment, you may look at the top card of your library anytime. Now this is hard to deal with. You may play the top card of your library. Some decks just can't handle the frenzy, which is why it's so good and perfect in this deck. Playing cards off the top when you've got a lot of mana, you will be playing multiple spells potentially with Experimental Frenzy on the board. The last cards that we have in there is a 3 of Chandra, Acolyte of Flame. Now I said there'd be extra ways to get Heartfire going, and there's extra ways in this because this 0 makes 2 red elemental creature tokens. They have to be sacked, so instead of maybe getting that 1 extra damage through, make the tokens and then just use Heartfire to bang in for 4 damage. This will work really well with the deck as well. The -2 casting the instant sorcery card with covered cost mana 3 or less. We've got Shock in there. We can replay a Heartfire potentially as well. Risk Factor, light up the stage. They all hit with this -2. Chandra, Acolyte of Flame is a great addition to this rotation-proof deck. So before we get onto the sideboard, you can see this deck is really good. It's still super strong. We lose some great cards, but we've gained a lot more in this brew that I've put together. I think this can still be tier 1 as is. No matter, it's only going to get stronger potentially with the Eldraine cards that could come in. So as we go to the sideboard now, I've got a couple of Chandra's Triumph in there because we've got the Acolyte, and we've also got Fire Artisan in the sideboard as well. So this potentially, when comes in with them, just becomes that much better. 2 of Fry in there, can't be countered. The blue decks hate this card. So we've got there as a couple of Lava Coil, still premium removal that we can have in the sideboard as a 4 of, because 4 damage to target creature kills the majority of the creatures in standard. Those life gain decks will not like Tibalt coming in. We will stop them from gaining life. The Fire of Loyalty on this is really strong. You potentially don't have to make the -2 Devil. You can just sit it on the board so your opponents can't gain life, then they're going to have to attack their way through it. Like I said, we got another Chandra in there, 2 of Chandra Fire Artisan. In case we need a bit more Planeswalkers, you're going to be bringing these in more against the control decks. This is still going to be good and is another way for us to win the game. And the last 2 of in the sideboard is an extra couple of Experimental Frenzy for those decks that just hate that card and cannot deal with that card. We will make 4 of these in the main, and it's a way for us to win the game. So this is the rotation-proof Mono Red Aggro Red Deck Wins deck that I've put together. Let me know what you think in the chat. Hopefully we're going to get some great additions from Eldraine as well. That would be really good. Change this deck along the way. If you'd like to see some gameplay of that, comment below. I would really like to see, and give it a big thumbs up. That really does help the channel out a lot. And of course, sharing the videos with your friends. Get people knowing about TOTALmtg and help us grow. Every little bit helps the channel, and I really do appreciate everything you all do for me. Anyway, this has been my first rotation-proof deck. I've got quite a few more on the way, so look out for those in the future. If you're new to this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and go and check out me and all my other formats that I'm on, Twitter, Instagram. There's links below, and of course the deck list is below as well, where you can go and check out some of our sponsors. etherhub.com are in there where the deck list is. That will take you through the TCG player, and if you buy cards any from them, use my link, support the channel. That would be really helpful and much appreciated. Mana Traders is there as well in case you want to do some renting on MTGO. I'll get you a little bit of discount with my code. Anyway, that's enough for me. Matt from TOTALmtg here. I will see you on the next video. You lot take care, and I'll see you soon.